Tonight, we're taking you back to the time when the Vikings ruled the northern seas. Long before the world had ever heard of Christopher Columbus, these water warriors traveled from Norway to Newfoundland with birds as their guide and compass. The relationship with these birds, along with a host of other animals, including Arctic foxes, humpback whales, and Norwegian reindeer, is now the focus of a new documentary from Nature titled Wild Way of the Vikings. Here's a look.
1,200 years ago, the North Atlantic was pristine and pure. A land ruled by gerfalcon, by walrus, by reindeer. But ancient people came to claim these lands too. People like the Vikings. This was a world they exploited, but it was a world they also nurtured and revered. Now, travel back in time to see the natural world through ancient eyes. Travel back in time to experience the wild way of the Vikings.
And joining us now with more on the Wild Way of the Vikings is Nature's executive producer, Fred Kaufman. Fred, welcome back to the program.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, Fred, just by the title or at first blush, what one might think that Wild Way of the Vikings is a departure from the usual Nature documentary because it's about humans, not about nature.
Right.
Is it a departure?
Yeah, what does one have to do with the other? A little bit of a departure because there are some dramatized moments, but considering our current fascination with Vikings, and we had this strong interest in doing something on Scandinavian wildlife, it seemed like a perfect combination. Could we actually go to these locations and envision what they would see? And of course, they were totally dependent on nature for existence. This is before science. Yeah. And craft a show around what they saw, what nature meant to them, and get new insights into the wildlife there.
So how do we really know? As you say, there are dramatic recreations about the way they lived. How do we know how the Vikings lived 1,200 years ago?
Well, there are these remnants, you know, and we could speculate that, you know, what we know about wildlife behavior, for example. We know, for example, humpback whales will feed near shore. So we could speculate that when they saw a humpback whale, they knew they were near land, something like that. There are remains of cups and bowls and tools and other things, clearly from the wildlife that they encountered. So, you know, we could pick up signs of what they encountered, how some of these materials were used, their clothing. We have a wonderful sequence. Just a few years ago, scientists discovered a Viking-era set of skis in a glacier in Norway. And we thought, did Vikings ski? Well, certainly on the slopes of Norway in the winter, they would need to know how to get around. So we created a scenario of a Viking on skis going out to hunt reindeer. And it's one of the most fantastic things I've ever seen.
Yeah, me too.
And today, you know, we just shot it. There are still tens of thousands of reindeer in these incredible herds. Yeah. And what we saw was behavior I've never seen before.
You're referring to a scene, I got to say it, where there's a hunter scares them, and they do something that no one, thousands of them start twirling around to confuse the hunter, and it does. Yeah, and then you have an aerial shot of it that is just amazing.
It's really spectacular. I hope we're showing that as we talk, but it's almost like a fish bait ball, you know, where to confuse a predator or a hunter, they spin, you know, they run in this circle, and so you're confused by them and you can't get a good shot, and that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. So it took the Vikings 200 years to travel from Scandinavia to North America, because in between they were colonizers. Mm-hmm. They would colonize islands off Scotland, Iceland. Fascinating, by the way. I mean, the footage you have of those places. But then you showcase the animals that the Vikings needed to survive across that trek. Talk about some of those animals. You already talked about the reindeer from Norway. Talk about some of those other animals.
Well, otters, seals, walrus, gannets. There's this huge colony of thousands of gannets, birds. And the Vikings would climb up these cliffs and take the eggs that they would need to survive. Eider ducks, wonderful.
Oh, that's so great.
Now it's interesting, eider ducks will pluck feathers from their chests to line their nests on the ground. And Vikings would approach these nests and, without doing any harm to the ducks, pull out these down feathers and use that as we would for clothing. And
then replace it with straw.
Exactly, yeah.
That's amazing,
so
right?
they would use it in that way. Antlers would turn into cups for them, and they valued all this stuff, and it was passed down generation to generation because, as you know, they couldn't run out to Walmart to replace anything. So whatever you created took some time and was quite valuable. In fact, even the clothing that they made would last 100 years that got passed down to different generations because of, you know, how hard it was to come across anything.
Right, and they used the ivory from the walrus tusk to make these beautiful chess pieces.
Yeah, we show this scene. I mean, you could see how beautiful those chess pieces are. And
the falcons, the gyrfalcons, they domesticated them and sold them to like the highest echelon of the nobility in Europe. I didn't know the Vikings were so enterprising.
Falconry, the sport of falconry goes back thousands of years, but we have a scene with a gyrfalcon, which many people may not have even heard of. It's the biggest falcon in the world, and it's virtually all white. And it's just beautiful. And you could see why any culture would prize such an animal. Falcons are killing machines. I mean, they're incredibly fast and kind of, they just stoop down on their prey. So to have a gyrfalcon is pretty cool.
So you talked about how the Vikings, and the documentary makes the point how the Vikings were, you know, used only what they needed, preserved the rest, and then saved what they got for generations under generations. Why did they do that? Were they kind of like proto-ecologists? Did they have a particular sustainable sensibility?
I don't think so. I don't think they were keen environmentalists, and I don't think they had any clue about sustainability. I think there was such life in great numbers, bird colonies and fish, and herds of animals. And in each of these locations, there might just be a couple of hundred Vikings. So it was quite easy to get what you needed and as much as you needed, but it made no impact really on the nature that was there.
And it's one of the reasons why it's so easy to recreate at least the visual nature of what they experienced.
Well, that's why I'm so enjoy this show, because you really, when you're watching it, you sort of, it kind of looks like what they would have seen. It's not as if we're trying to recreate 17th century Manhattan, where it obviously looks completely different. But you can go back to these locations in the North Atlantic and Scandinavia, and it really does look like an untouched wilderness with great numbers of animals, and it's captivating in that way. And you could see how difficult life might be for them, but also the great potential of what was there.
Yeah. All right, Fred, it's a great documentary, of course. Thanks so much for coming here to talk about it.
My pleasure, thanks.
And just a reminder, Wild Way of the Vikings premieres Wednesday night at 8. For other viewing opportunities, you can visit our website at metrofocus.org.